Hello everybody, welcome to another video. This one's going to be a little bit different as I am reviewing an EP rather than a review, so this is not going to be something I'm doing often. I might do more EP reviews in the future, but this one in particular was one I did want to talk about, considering Slipknot had been one of my favourite bands pretty much as I've been going into music. So we have the new release of the Adderall EP, which came out not long after Craig Jones, the keyboardist for Slipknot, had departed from the band, and I guess this is a little homage to him and what he's done, especially since he's been in the band before the first album. Craig's been there for quite a while, and all the ideas, all these brilliant sounds and chimes that he adds to what is Slipknot's overall sound is incredible, and I think he is definitely a well-respected member. We're probably one of the most iconic masks, I think, from Slipknot. Come on, I think if you were to think Slipknot and just the overall pinhead sort of look, I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, the spiky head helmet was definitely his, and I quite enjoyed that, to be honest. But the Adderall EP, honestly, I know it's supposed to be a little nod to Craig Jones, but this just feels absolutely cheap as a whole EP. It's pretty much the same thing, or at least what you've heard, with little installments of something original, but that's a lie. The most original thing on here is the little interlude Red or Redder, which is this little zany work. I guess this was sort of going to be an interlude before or after the song Adderall, and I like it, but I don't think 25 unique seconds makes up for a whole EP dedicated to Adderall, which I have no idea why this is the one in particular track from the end so far that you would want to do an EP on, considering it is by far one of the weakest songs from the band, as well as it just doesn't even fit. I don't really mind Adderall. I think it's just kind of a meh song, but there's so many others I think that highlights a lot more of Craig Jones' talents than this track, and I understand they wanted to go a bit more experimental. By that I mean they went over experimental to the point that We're Not Your Kind just shows how you can experiment right, and this one just shows you how you can experiment and completely go off the radar for something completely different. It just feels less and less like your band. But I'm not going to be talking about the end so far much, other than comparing that to why Adderall is on here in the first place. So the first track, Death March, is literally just the intro to Adderall, and then you have Adderall without that intro. So why the fuck are these two separated when they're literally the same song but split in two? I guess they wanted to give the little intro its own significance, but I don't know why. It doesn't really highlight over anything original or unique that they want to add. I mean, if you wanted just to have Adderall, you could just have the song Adderall on here just as it is, because I don't think calling it Death March really makes it stand out more. It's just the intro to a song that no one's really bothered by, because it's on not only one of the weakest albums from Slipknot, it's also from, like I said, one of the fans' least favourite songs. So I have no clue why they want to pursue in that and separate the two just to waste 2 track slots on this. Then you have a rough demo of Adderall. So you basically get Adderall split in, or basically the intro split off from Adderall to go into Adderall, and then you go into the rough demo of Adderall, which somehow just sounds worse. I have no clue why you'd have the two back to back. Maybe you want to show the comparison. And I know a demo is, if it's worse, then the actual song is doing a good job of picking up the problems the demo has, but at the same time I just don't want to listen to two of the songs back to back, and that's kind of it. It's quite similar. The only distinction is the instrumentals are quite different, and I guess you can hear a little bit of different vocal harmony from Corey Taylor. And I don't really know what this really highlights about Craig Jones. I mean, I guess like you kind of hear the difference between the instrumentals from the demo to the actual song, but again, this doesn't really feel like an ode to Craig Jones. It just feels like we're trying to popularise Adderall for some reason. Then you have Red or Redder, which I mentioned is literally a small interlude with actual unique sounds, and I think it's cool. If it was on the record, I wouldn't complain, because, hey, it's something positive, so the more the merrier to the end so far. And then when you haven't had enough Adderall, you get the instrumental for Adderall. Why? You literally had the song, and then you had the demo, you had this little interlude to connect it to the instrumental for the song that we've listened to about 3 times in different format. Why? What's the point? I get like releasing an instrumental version a bit more than just having the song without an intro, but you've already heard the song a bunch of times. Like, this instrumental is just going to be absolutely annoying by the time you're finished with this EP. Then you get Had to Be Here, which is sort of a different take on the instrumental of Adderall. It has a similar feel, but I guess they were trying to go for something else with it, and to me it kind of feels like a theme for a game like Halo or something, and I could see something like that being interesting, but unfortunately it's just using Adderall and just reworking or reimagining how the sound of it could be. There's almost no reason this should exist. If anything, this is probably one of the worst EPs I've just stumbled upon. It's not only is it focused on Adderall, it could have been on something a lot better that showcases, well, Slipknot, which they have experimented, as well as putting in some of their more classic ideas. You could have had Hive Mind, which was a much better representation of the end so far. You could have had Finale, you could have had just almost anything. I think was a better step to talk about than Adderall. You could have mentioned Yen. Yen was a bit distinctive. I know they probably want to do one that focused more on sort of like the synths and keyboard elements, but what's the point of this? There's no point for any of this to really exist. It's just the same thing going over, and it's on a weak track. There is zero reason to go back into this unless you're really into this song, or you really like Slipknot and you like to have a whole collection of stuff. I don't know why you have to have this EP be this long. If you want to put a demo on there, you want to put an instrumental, just put that on there. The interlude idea of Red or Redder is fine, but you should pretty much just get Adderall related stuff 5 out of 6 times, with Red or Redder being something distinctive which probably would connect to it. It's a terrible EP, and I just don't understand what the point of this was. It doesn't feel like an ode to the whole time of Craig Jones, pretty much giving him a send-off. It just doesn't feel like that. Honestly, I don't understand what the point of this was. I just feel like this was just a wasted attempt at trying to pursue popularity into a song that no one was really bothered by. But that's pretty much my EP review on this new Slipknot extended play, and I just don't really see the point in it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching.